record for. What did I name him? The Beautiful Prince of MMA is what I called him, and just as a side title, UFC star Drew Dober, I guess, is back. Raph, I don't know. What are we talking about? I've hit record. Let's do it.
Well, we should be talking about UFC 242, but I think it's going to be hard considering that we have our good friend Drew Dober back. And, Drew is super nice. But, Drew, you went off last week in a way that was both shocking and also surprising. Did you ever get the chance to listen to how intense you were last week on the show?
No, not at all. I pretty much let you guys enjoy the intensity.
Okay. Let me try a different question, Raph, if he doesn't. So, Drew, did you threaten to strike a member of the show last week by chance? Do you remember any physical threats?
Oh, no, I definitely gave you just motivation to take the proper picks, or else we'll play a thrilling chess match.
You sound like an extra in Mindhunter. It's like, did you threaten me? He's like, I gave you the opportunity to sharpen your skills. You are welcome to take it as you please. Scaring me, Raph. He's scaring me. Are you cutting? Are you fighting? Are you in fight camp? Do you know when you're fighting next?
I have no idea. We're going back and forth with the UFC, figuring out. So I'm all pimped up, full of frustration. I'm eager to play some chess.
But you've been on a different sort of training thing lately. Thing isn't the right word. Probably regiment. You probably want to use something more professional. You've a dominion of more year-round training. Are you fight ready right now? What's your weight stuff? Like, give us your in-between status right now.
I'm about high 70s, like 178. And, yeah, I'm always fight ready.
That's not bad. I mean, you're not a big dude in terms of like what you have to lose. It's mostly like you lose a fourth of each of your butt cheeks and you've hit 155. Is that basically it?
Pretty much. I gotta detach a leg real quick to make the weight. But yeah, I'm on paper known as one of the bigger lightweights.
Yeah, on paper, and if you've ever met Drew in real life, also in real life, one of the more muscular lightweights you'll meet. Harder to lose muscle than it is. Like, give me a big, I was going to say Roy Nelson. He could lose 10 pounds, no problem. Be very simple for him. It's like he just cut out Miller Lite for a whole week before the fight, loses 10 pounds. You don't have that.
I have like 10 pounds in each one of my calves.
Yeah, he means thighs.
So
I have thunder thighs too.
Dehydrated calf, real quick.
He wears loose fit Old Navies, and they still are dressed tight. So, what are we? He's back to suffer the wrath of last week. But do we have any other outstanding business with UFC star Drew Dober before we get to UFC 242?
No, I just wanted to make sure because he sounds way, way nicer today. Is it just because there's not a guessing element and we've already seen what's happened?
He's tired.
Drew, he might be tired. Yeah, he might be in a sauna. He's the only person who takes one of his thighs to a sauna, and that's it.
Just definitely enjoying the moment and what we're about to talk about.
Okay, cool. Now, did you know that they were going to be on in the morning, or did you have to watch it later in the day?
Actually, it caught me by surprise. I didn't know it was going to be in the morning, but I found out luckily the night before, and I was like, oh, apparently I got to set my alarm.
I had to do a public service announcement because I learned my information from a meme. And then when I learned the information from a meme, I said, uh-oh. So I put it up to our viewers and our listeners, and I said, oh, by the way, BT Dubs, if you want to get up for the prelims, it's 7:15 in the morning. So I'll see you guys at 11.
And you went to B-Dubs at 7 in the morning?
No, I just like to say BT Dubs.
No, he was saying I'll see you at 11.
Yeah, BT Dubs is another way of saying, by the way.
Rav would get up at 7:15 to train with you. That's about it. Otherwise, he's sleeping in.
Really true. And honestly, if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, I would be way lazier. But jiu-jitsu is the only reason I get up to like train at 6 a.m. in the morning because I'll drag myself out for jiu-jitsu. But everything else is like, nope. Mm-mm.
Oh, That's brutal. Who wants to like pull pajamas at 6 a.m. with other dudes?
Well, what? Wait, when do you? God damn it, Raph. He confuses the shit out of me. Like 1 minute he's dedicated, the second he's like, "You get up at 6 to fight people." It's like,
Right.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
no. You're not fighting people. You're playing jujitsu. You're scissoring and pulling the pajamas of other men.
Shots fired at the jiu-jitsu community by
Am
Drew
I
Dober.
hearing-
I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't
Am I
prepared for this.
detecting a little bit of animosity to those who use the gi, Drew?
I'm only speaking on that the last 2 losses were due to submissions, so I'm just rubbed a little wrong way.
A little salty. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. And you know what the dumb part is it's not like you don't have your own submissions on there, on your record that you have pulled off.
I'm looking at his stats right now.
Mm-hmm.
He has
Doesn't he have
almost
tap
as
out,
many
you can
wins by
strike,
submission.
Yep.
Verbal tap out.
He correct. Well, you have a Cleveland Browns like win record. You've won 8 by knockout, 6 by submission, 7 by decision. Actually, hold on.
Even across the board.
I have 2 fun questions for you. One,
Okay.
do you think you could fuck everyone up at Bellator? Like if you went back, the last time you fought at Bellator, you fought someone named Nick Nolte, which made me laugh for 20 minutes because I was like, did he fight Nick Nolte? I would remember that. I would remember him fighting Nick Nolte, like from 48 hours. What weight class do you think anyone could beat you?
Wait. Like, what weight class do you think? I think that no one could beat me.
I just mean in Bellator. Like I feel like you have a little bit of a UFC superiority, as you should. One of the things I thought as I was coming into judo was like, because I saw the highlights from Bellator, I was like, I wonder if he would just fight 170, 195, if he feels any fear. Do you? Give me your thoughts.
No, I think if it was a Bellator thing, I'd definitely move up to 70. And to be honest, I have no idea who's at 170 in Bellator.
Well, I think Lovato's at 185, so I can't do that. And
Oh yeah, my God, he's a monster. Yeah, I'd definitely stay at 70.
you're gonna end up pitch this. Screw the weight classes. Be like, I want to fight Rampage Jackson for no fucking reason at all. I don't. Your agent's gonna be like, do not go back on that podcast, by the way. I don't want to hear any more about it. So that was my thought, Raph. Those were all the creative questions I had for Drew Dober.
To be fair, over the weekend, there was a Bellator card as well.
That's what got me thinking. I was like, I wonder if Drew Dober's like, I could beat their 185 champ. I could fight their 205er.
And could you imagine, though, that at the end of that, Ryan Bader, apparently the greatest heavyweight in the world, as per Scott Coker, he then caught the eye of one Rampage Jackson, who I guess forgot that he's retired and wanted to start beef. And I go, oh no, this is how you Bellator.
Or
Bellator,
bad at fighting.
Don't you Bellator.
Yeah.
No.
Hold on. I'm going to pull up Rampage's about last few fights while we're.
Thank you. But anyway.
And the winner takes on Tito Ortiz or.
Oh my God, Drew, I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe I'll send it to you afterwards. But there is a gentleman by the name of El Patron, or AKA Alberto Del Rio. And he kind of helps out with Combates Americas. And they signed Tito Ortiz after his 2nd or 3rd retirement. I've frankly forgotten which one we're on right now. And yet they're going to fight each other. And they cut a promo, and it was the dumbest promo in the world. And
I mean, I'm not surprised with Tito Ortiz.
Well, yeah, I know. He finds his way to come back in every decade. Just when you think you're done with him, it's like, oh, we're done with Tito, right? And he goes, nope, making my way through 2020, bitches. So,
Oh man.
Just so you're aware of these things.
Drew, one more
okay.
hypothetical. Drew, you could definitely beat up Tito, though, right?
I would hope. I would hope so.
Okay.
I definitely would.
I would be.
But
I would put
He has
money
a
on
huge
you
head, though.
in that fight. I normally get nervous betting on you because we consider you a friend. But against Tito, I'm laying wood. I'm showing up. I don't care if it's in Canada. I'm swinging around for that fight.
All right, so Drew, you found out that it was going to be early morning. You didn't necessarily watch live, but you did watch.
Yeah, I watched the main card live.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go from top down.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck you very much. All right.
Why do people still call Kabib boring? Drew, I'll ask you that.
Just because wrestling is boring.
Okay. Okay.
I love you so much.
I would say, like, watching a wrestler is like taking a prude to prom. You know, you expect a great finish, but all you get is dry humping.
This is a great crossover moment to mention Bachelor in Paradise's ending, and the advice he just gave could really help millions around the world. But damn it, I don't disagree with a word he just said, Raph, but I have also gotten some serious hate mail from wrestlers on this podcast.
It's true. And now we'll just redirect it all over to Drew.
You can now send that to @DrewDober.
Okay. Well, maybe this is the thing that still surprises me, and it's taking me a while to adjust to it. So I'm going to break this news to you guys if you aren't aware already. Kabib, it was reported, made $6 million from this fight. That's just what was disclosed. Kevin, what?
I don't even want to tack on what he's making back in Mother Russia to just wear that stupid hat. There's a lot to unpack about this. This is a big fight for ESPN so far. Mm-hmm. This one I have a feeling you two are welcome to talk me off this, but I was like, why the fuck is this fight at 2:00 in the afternoon? I mean, I get it that it's in Abu Dhabi, so you're already, that's why you made $6 million. I mean, that government wants that money. Between Russia, I'm going to venture this. I bet he made close to 20. That's my guess. And this fight was
quite a bit.
It's a lot of money, but this fight was at 2 p.m. because the NFL was going on, and I feel like this is the first time ESPN was like, you're going to stop that stupid shit where you have a Saturday night fight during NFL weekend. You're going to do it in the afternoon and confuse the fuck out of people. Loved it. $6 million. What's Poirier make? Do you know?
Not that.
No one makes that.
Did he make like 250,000?
About that. Ooh. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to have some bills to pay.
And Drew, to further add outrage, they didn't do a fight of the night bonus. They did 4 performances of the night, specifically not giving Poirier one. Or future Drew Dober SmackDown opponent, Paul Felder.
Yes, and we'll come to the Paul Felder match in a minute.
But they definitely like screwed Barboza and Felder of that fight of the night, though.
Yeah, those poor guys. I couldn't make heads or tails of that because Dana came back, and you guys probably didn't watch the post presser, but Dana came back in the post press and just looked like he was begging for mercy from press row, because when he went back there, he just goes, "Can you guys fucking leave me alone? You know what happens when I fucking travel. I can barely hear. I'm fucking deaf, you know? And then we got music playing back there. Hey, you kids, shut that fucking music down." Anyway.
Jesus.
You guys, can I go? And it just felt so sad. Everybody asking him a question, but they ended up going and saying, well, what was the live gate? And Dana starts right away by being like, we don't know what the live gate was. They ran that. Which then always sounds like hyper shady, where you go, why wouldn't you have that information? You're like, we didn't do it, but a lot of people came. So, yeah, it went good.
AKA the Abu Dhabi. Drew, you got to fight in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I bet they have suites. I bet it is like Sex in the City 2 with none of the shitty plot.
Oh, gee. I actually heard that it was incredibly hot in that arena.
Oh. How do you,
so,
is there like
I mean, I don't think Abu Dhabi is like, my number one place that I should fight, but it definitely would be cool to check out.
I'm just being materialistic, and we enjoy living vicariously through your successful athletic
Well, it just
career.
seems like they also send you every fucking where.
They do. You head out to London, Canada, you will go anywhere.
Yep. I mean, I'm usually the guy fighting the hometown hero, so.
Well, that's why when
I don't know how the UFC is marketing me as like a villain, but
it's amazing.
They probably figured they're like, send the most Ken doll like person we have so that they can truly hate America in that country.
Maybe they heard about that time you beat up a fan. It was like, I'll fight him. And you knocked his ass out. They were like, God, that guy's fucking Cruella
I did
DeVille.
get a couple notes about that later that week. It was like,
I did too.
Did Drew Dober kill a guy? And I was like, no.
People wanted us to ask you more questions about that. They thought we really glided past that story.
Well, I mean, he wanted an autograph, but I feel like, people fans can lose autographs, but you can't lose a concussion. Forever.
Oh, God. Put that on a shirt, Kev. So, okay. Let me explain what the post-presser looked like elsewhere. Kabib came back, and in a rare tour de force, when he reached the backstage area, he definitely was saying things like, in response to, Kabib, how are you going to go celebrate? What's your next fight? And everybody's trying to push that Tony Ferguson fight. And we all know the weird air of them trying to do that 5 times. So Khabib's answer, and Kev, get ready for this.
Give me the Dober.
Well, I wish. But instead, he went over and he looked at the reporter and said, my next fight is going to be against juicy 8-pound steak with au jus sauce. And I was like, is this him with an open mic?
Is this Khabib flirting? Because I don't like it.
Yeah, and I was like,
Stop that.
Doing comedy. Like, where did the comedy come in after all these years? That it was just him of like, he lobbed in like 2 or 3 jokes, and it felt like watching somebody at their first attempt at stand-up who kind of starts laughing at their own jokes and then would always come back by saying, but seriously, folks, okay. So that's that side. The other side that was hard to watch was Dustin Poirier, not yay, but nay, unfortunately coming back. And this man looked broken. And it was sad to watch, Kevin, because they brought him back there. And the thing that made me upset was they had one person ask him a question, which was essentially, how did it feel to lose, Drew? And he was like, well, you know, I put my heart and soul into this. And you see him on the verge of tears. And he was just like, but it just wasn't my night. And I thought it would be my night, but that's what happened.
I actually did see some clips of him
But
post, and it
The
didn't
next
look
question,
good.
though, Kev,
He looks
was
sad.
like, hey, how did it feel to lose? And he looked over like, oh, I just answered that, you bitch. Why would you ask me that again? So it was intense. Drew, how do we beat Kabib?
How would I beat Kabib?
Well, how does a person beat Kabib? Because do you think that Tony is the key to beating him? Or do you think that Kabib is just going to smish and contain Tony Ferguson in the same way he did with somebody who, you know, stand-up wise, we thought would be at least a little bit more of a threat to him?
I mean, honestly, that Tony Ferguson Khabib fight, close. You know, it's like, yeah, Khabib's going to get the takedown, right? But Tony is just so awkward and weird and like somersaults and spinning elbows. Like, you have no idea how that fight's going to, you know, play out. Plus, it's dangerous on his back, too. You know, so it's just like, you know, Khabib is very predictable, but Tony not at all. And so when you like bet on the fight, you're like, I don't know. Depends on how Tony Ferguson spins and stuff.
Kev, there was a moment, though, that Brian Ortega said if that was him, that guillotine would have been finished. Agree or disagree?
Agree. I completely agree. I have no reason to doubt Brian Ortega, and I want to be on the record not doing it. I did not see the fights. I'll explain for personal reasons at the end of the podcast, so I'm not a bummer. I heard Khabib offered to donate money to Poirier's charity.
Yes.
Okay, Drew, that's what you should do if you really want to deball a fighter after a fight. Be like, I'm going to donate to his charity, obese children that recovered to become a fighter.com. Whatever it is, like, that's what you should do. It's very emasculating. People were like, what a class act. I was like, that is cuckolding. 101. That's charity cuckolding.
Oh, my God.
You're going to do it now.
No comment.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
going to
good
donate to your number one healthcare facility, Planned Parenthood. Here we go. Everybody wins.
So, okay, good news, though. The Bald Father said he would match whatever Khabib raises.
This is more cuckolding. Leave Dustin Poirier alone. He just lost a fight. He doesn't need you two being like, let's write a check to his charity because he looks like a sad puppy. We don't need that.
Because they did ask him about that, too, in the post-presser, and they go, well, how did you feel about them coming together and raising money for charity after he beat you so soundly? And he was just kind of like, that's really good for all those people, you know. Yeah, it's great. I love the fact
excited. And I want to be publicly, I'm glad I take it in the stance of being against, I guess, charitable donations. Glad that's going to be on my resume of hot takes. Can we get to Felder? Because this is Dober's dream match. This is his boy.
I do have one or two small little things on this, and then we'll move along. But it should be noted, though, Dustin Poirier, when he was talking about his foundation, is a good fight foundation, which is giving putting up homes and shelters for Uganda orphanages. So helping out people, the homes, all that sort of stuff. Definitely very, very good. And I will say this. It is commendable to Kabib that there was sportsmanship on this one. That was nice to see. There is some nice exchanges. They exchanged shirts. And then Kabib did kind of say something that was almost a humble brag when he goes, I will sell shirt on my site because I have more Instagram follower than him. And it felt like an Instagram model, like trying to really shine on somebody and being like, I have like 3 million followers and way more likes and hearts and saves on my
footprint is way bigger than Yo's. Hey, hold on. Did you see the video of the weight where he's like range finding Poirier?
Mm-hmm.
Drew, did you see this?
No, not at all. What happened?
Okay, in the weight they do the stance right there. They're at the weigh-in. And it really does look like Kabib first reaches out and taps Poirier on the shoulder with his left hand like, hey. But then he does it with his right hand when they're kind of facing away from each other. And it fucking looks like he's finding range. It 100% looks like he's measuring how far away this guy is before the fight. Is that something people do?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely something people do. Like, the face-off is, you definitely get to finally look at this opponent and judge on, like, real height and reach and all that stuff. Yeah, a lot of fighters do it.
You ever take out a tape measure? Be like, hey, let me see this. You circumcised? Like, let's get the whole situation going here. Like, how deep does it go?
You should definitely go for it.
Hey, can't know too much. You heard it here from Drew Dober. We'll make that another shirt also.
Just drop the pants and be like, this is all you're fighting right here. This is all of it.
He genuinely took a level just to make sure. It's like, put your hand out. Perfect. All right. Got it.
370
just put his foot on his lower back just to make sure it's, it's like, all right, got my leg reach.
Yeah, everything's perfect and lined up. All right. All righty, Roo. Have a good one.
Let me say this, too. It was interesting. I mean, obviously, Saudi money. I am interested to see what Kabib gets for his next fight, but it almost seems like they want to kind of throw him back in that market. That's not a terrible idea. It is interesting. It also, can we say this too? Kabib, you don't have to jump over the cage. Like, what
was he doing? He like jumped on Dana White and started kissing him, or I don't know what happened.
He just wanted to jump and express his love to Dana. It just so happens that people were trying to, not let him jump over the railing. Who we could talk about how effective they are at their job at a different time if we'd like to, but I would like to say this. There was one weird thing that's still like, I understand people are very nice with Kabib. I still have my skepticism for the following reason, which is when they were asking him about his suspension and why it took so long for him to get back, everybody sees the good sportsmanship and they forget him. But Kabib, when he was asked about what happened with Conor, got to just say this, which was, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm trying to move on. And it's like...
That's how I got over a relationship once. I don't want to fault him here.
I just like the idea that, like, the best way to, like, pretend like none of that ever happened is just to be like, I don't want to talk. I'm over it now. I just wish all of us had that ability to do that at our jobs, where if somebody came over, they're like, weren't you late this week? I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm over it.
It's in the past.
So anyway, that's what I got there. Let's go to the fight of the night, question mark? Why wasn't it? How much did you enjoy this fight, Drusif?
Oh, entirely. It was a lot of fun to watch. And plus, had no idea who actually won this fight.
Really? So do you score fights as you're watching them as a fighter? Do you find that you score them differently than your friends when you're watching them together?
Actually, I get people that are like, who do you think's winning? I'm like, actually, I wasn't paying attention to who's winning. I was just enjoying a whole lot of punch face. I don't keep count.
Except obviously when the wrestlers are going, you just know it's easy to keep count. But when people are punching, that's when you lose it, like the Barboza Felder fight.
Yeah, like every human being who loves combat. Nobody likes watching paint drying and wrestling.
You're also scouting, aren't you? Can you turn that off?
Oh, no, I'm definitely scouting. Like, actually, I was super anxious during the entire event because I'm watching, like, 6 potential opponents. Like, ooh.
Yeah, I have a whole thing for you to be like, I have some insults ready for Kabib whenever you need some increased firepower. Keep me posted.
I
feel
felt like I was just standing outside the Golden Corral, just looking through the window, looking at all this potential food, and like, Jesus, when
Dynamite use of Golden Corral, not a sponsor yet.
sign me up.
You can't take the Midwest out of the kid, you know?
No shit. Drew, do you really dream about the Golden Corral?
I fucking do. Before Drew answers, I'll say I do.
Oh. Can I tell you this?
Ref, it's like Vegas, but cheaper and all year round.
Kev, I know
Yeah,
that.
and then the people watching is bar none the best you've ever seen.
So my family and I will go out to a restaurant out back where my dad lives. And every time we go there, you could see the Golden Corral from where we're sitting at this other restaurant. And my wife multiple times has said, "Hey guys, you guys want to go to the Golden Corral?" As she's joking. And my whole family goes stone silent as if we will disown her if she goes to the Golden Corral. So to me, it is a little funny to hear 2 essentially Midwest boys being like, "I love me some Golden Corral." But Drew did say the right words, which is people watching, because that line goes forever back in the homestead for me. And that people watching from our restaurant is like a double bonus.
I'm too focused on those soft buttery rolls and the
God.
extra butter right next to it that you just slather onto the plate.
I mean, I've learned strategy by watching people in the Golden Corral. I saw a woman eating there by herself, pulling out like Ziploc baggies for the food that she's not going to finish.
Genius.
Like, it was impressive.
That is a good idea. If you're ever on hard
So
times.
Vegas, here I come.
Fun hack. In Vegas, you're definitely getting arrested for that, but you can get away with it at the Golden Corral.
To go prime rib.
So Kev, you actually watch fights and can actually figure out who wins fights occasionally. Who won that fight?
Paul Felder.
Okay,
And
why?
the whole time was chanting, because I actually went back and highlighted this fight specifically because I wanted to talk shit to Drew. I was like, that's the Dober anecdote right there. That backhand, baby. Someone's about to get dip smacked. And I was talking an aggressive amount of shit as a coping mechanism.
I mean, he definitely emotionally scarred you last week.
You
so
can
it
tell.
does make
I got
sense.
scared when he was like, let's get in the cage. I was like, can I have headgear? Yes, you can have a headgear. Big gloves? Whew. Maybe I should have talked him into one of those blow-up sumo wrestling things, Raph.
That's my fault. I should have thought of that.
Halloween's coming up, too.
Fair. Now, Drew, did you feel you'll actually get the chance to fight a Paul Felder? Because it sounds like he's ready to wrap it up. And it almost sounded more like when Anik was going over to him and saying, "Well, you know, buddy, we love what you do. You're so good at it. And who do you see that you'd like to fight next?" And he's just kind of like, really, I'd like to go home. You know, I'd like to not be internally bleeding. Woo! How many times I get hit? Oh, man. Yeah, whoever, I guess, you know. Just a couple more fights and then... Because I think he said toward the end especially, "Yeah, you guys better give me a top 5 opponent or a good opponent or I'm going to quit." And that's when you saw Anik kind of like pat him on the back like, "Okay, buddy, shut up right now."
Well, I mean, I feel like the question of like, who do you want to fight next? You know, at that very moment, like every fighter, regardless of what he says, is truly thinking, like, I just got done cutting like 25 pounds and getting punched in the face for like 8 weeks. So the next thing I'm gonna fight is like a diner tonight, or just some sort of like alcohol bottle.
I'm not a
I
fighter,
don't even want to think
but I would
about
argue
repeating
you
this
make
experience.
love to the diner, you do fight the alcohol bottle. That's going to be an uphill battle. The food portion is more like Marvin Gaye's playing right as they deliver that gravy smothered steak. It's just like, Don't see nothing wrong. Hold on. I might have gone to R. Kelly. So
No, he's killed. He's been emotionally shut down. We're not doing R. Kelly anymore.
Hold on. I'm a kid. Without a Paddle was a major movie growing up to me, so there's nothing I can do.
I understand.
This specific thing, though, your point, I've heard this from there's a really funny Blake Griffin when he's talking to Jimmy Fallon, and he's like, people think athletes are dumb. It's not that. We've just been exercising for 3 hours. We have nothing interesting to say. So you're saying you think Paul Felder's ready to fight. He just was suffering from a little, I'm super old and I'm super fatigued and it's been a while.
I think he had the toughest weight cut of his life, plus kickboxed one of the better kickboxers for 15 minutes, won a split decision. They're like, who do you want to, you want to do this again with who? And he's just like, I want to fucking sit down right now.
Yeah.
Well, I also appreciate the fact that, when you have a commentator in those positions, you feel like John Anik, because he knows him, really tries to sell it out and, help him out and goes, I think what you mean to say is, ready to go home to my lovely family. And we're done. Bye, everybody. As opposed to other people, John Anik, lets them, chew their own tongue in front of everybody on live television.
John Anik isn't helping Curtis Blaydes, for example. He's just going to let him
100%.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's just announcers, dream to all right, let's get these guys, doped up on dopamine and adrenaline and got punched in the face for 15 minutes and let's put a mic in front of them and see what these crazy people have to say.
You're talking to two people that have done commentary. Yeah. Damn, do we love it. It is it's a rush.
I've definitely seen this look in fighters' eyes afterwards when I go to interview them, which is very hard to never tell the audience, but they 100% have that look in their eyes of tiredness that just underlyingly says, please help me. I'm so tired. I don't know what I'm about to say, Raf. If you can help me land this plane, I will be so appreciative. And that's why at the end of the interview, I usually go, well, hey, man, so that's what you were trying to do, correct? And it's like, yes, thank you. I'm going to die now. So I have
the UFC announcers just keep adding on questions.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's like, all right, this man has failed to achieve his one dream in life, and he's about to cry. So how are you feeling in this moment?
I hate that question, by the way. Alone. That question is a drinking game at our house. How are you feeling in this moment? It's an extreme cop-out to a specific question. It's an extreme interview cop-out. But Raph and I are not going to get on our soapbox about that.
No, not this time. Kev, what else did we have on the card that was notable to talk about?
Don't remember anything other than Davi Ramos lost, which is tough because he was my first jiu-jitsu crush. I started training, and he was just releasing a first series where he was showing the flying guillotine. It was like, what the fuck is that? He's training with Atos. I was deep into the Davi Ramos Google dive. Still am.
What did you feel about that fight? Did you like
complete
that
utter
fight,
bullshit?
Drew?
Didn't see it, but I hate it. The refs are complete. They do this all the time. You heard UFC star Drew Dober explain it. They just have no idea what they're doing. It is a ping pong match of instability. This is clearly what happened with Makhachev. Didn't see the fight again, Ref.
Thank you, Drew.
Was this on the main card?
This was on the main. This was the third fight in the main card.
There are two more.
I was literally celebrating Curtis's win and completely missed that one.
You took a fight off for 15 minutes.
It was a decision, man. It wasn't a short one.
Did you see Curtis's win?
I did, but where did you go?
I zoned out.
I thought he was going to say the trampoline. He's like, I went and did backflips for 20, 30 minutes. I don't remember.
We've never had
I think a teammate was making pizza and it finally came out and it just lost me.
We've never had a guest openly admit. We've had guests lie that said, oh yeah, I saw that fight. Definitely. It was definitely. Mm-hmm. But Drew 100% just admitted like an ADHD child. Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. It was in front of me, but I did not. I zoned out.
Exactly. Curtis Blaydes just wins and the pizza comes out. Like, how can you resist, honestly?
So Curtis Blaydes, talk us through that. Obviously you were excited enough to basically zone out for weird 25 minutes.
Ooh,
but
I'm
what were
watching
your
this,
feelings
by the
when
way.
you saw that?
How about like a man taking a top 10 ranked heavyweight and is making him look like it's his first fight ever?
Yeah.
Ow! He
Just
Donkey Konged him.
literally throws
He
him
did
on
the dunk. He
Yeah.
just starts throwing fists. It's awesome.
Yeah. And then there's that one elbow. He literally just grabbed one side of his face, elbowed the other side of his face, and then nose is broken, fight over. Like, I was like, wow.
It looks violent. Nice. Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, I see why you were celebrating that then.
Yeah.
And
Well, okay.
Raph, how do I get invited to this exclusive teammate watch party? He's like, a teammate pulled a pizza out of the oven. He's like, Elliot
and
Marshall
the
walked by and
teammate
gave some
was
advice about it.
Bojan.
Oh, what? Sorry, I interrupted you.
The teammate was Bojan.
Perfect.
Serbian Steel Bojan fought in the PFL and in the UFC, and he puts his apron on, and the stuff that comes out of his kitchen you won't find in restaurants. Oh my God, it's amazing. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
I mean, if you were there, you would know, like, zoning out for 25 minutes is actually minimal.
Well, lively entertainer here, Drew. I bring pleasant conversation. I'll bring an appetizer. Not alcohol, obviously. I assume none of you drink.
And
You'd
let's
be surprised.
be very clear. I do appreciate the fact that, Drew, I'm glad you were able to kind of clean that up. Because just when you started that sentence and you said, he puts on an apron and then ellipsis.
The stuff that comes
dot.
out of his kitchen, I was like, is illegal? Like, I wasn't sure where it was going either, but I loved it. It landed.
But let's talk about the wins that this man has. You've got Justin Willis, Mark Hunt, Ali Star Overeem, Olenek. I mean, like, there's definitely some good moments for the man here. I mean, 12-2. That's a pretty good day for him. So I'm glad you were able to celebrate that. Drew, did you have any other comments about any of the other fights? Because I got to be honest, because it was so early, I might have took nappies in between some of these fights. And it's not like I wasn't trying to watch, but I would put it on, and then I would just think to myself, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
I mean, if I wasn't so emotionally invested in the main card, I probably would have done the same. But how about Islam Makhachev?
Yeah.
Taking on that renowned jiu-jitsu Abu Dhabi champion. And was it? Oh no, not Abu Dhabi. Was it ADCC?
Essentially the
You're
same.
shitting on Davi Ramos
Yeah.
again, my guy. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he just beat Austin, so I'm not a huge fan of this dude. However, Islam looked pretty good, fantastic actually. So, whenever he wants to square up, we can do this.
Oh, I love it when you're going to beat up Russians. Makes me feel all Rocky-ish. Not the Russian I had in mind for you. You can be like, hey, Kabib, your hat called. It got its period and it needs it back.
Gross.
Plenty of things around insulting is wrestling, I think. Muay Thai is where I go. Raph, I'll keep throwing him at him, but
I appreciate that. On the Wikipedia page, though, for UFC 242, it should be noted that it said, as of September 4th, online promotional content related to UFC 242 uploaded online streaming platforms have received a collective total of more than 112 million views. So that's not to be sneezed at. That's actually pretty good. I am interested to see what this draws.
Live sporting event that's played in the United Arab Emirates in 9 months. Might have something to do with it. Don't know.
Yeah. Here's something that you should know, though. I thought it was pretty interesting what Q-Ball said backstage, which was that when they were saying, well, when are you coming back to Saudi Arabia? And Dana White said, yeah, we're coming back here. We're looking to do, what, like, International Fight Week is in Vegas? And they go, yeah. He goes, like that, but bigger. And they go, wait, you're going to do something bigger than that? What the fuck? Out of Saudi Arabia? And it sounds like all hands on deck. So, Drew, if you want to get your chance to sweat your ass off and go over there and visit over there, it sounds like they might be sending people there.
that would be a very unique experience in autograph signing.
That is correct.
Soon it's not even. It's just going to be like a draft. It's like going to be Dober's number came up. It's like Neil Magny's like, oh, thank God, I just got a reprieve. You're gonna have to go spend 3 months in Abu Dhabi.
All right. Well, let's talk about this, Kev. I think it's time to reveal some results. I think you know what the results are, and I'm gonna let you break the news today. So, Kev, who won this week's installment of Over Under, Kevin?
Well, I'll straight up tell you, I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about the results, even though I did prevail on 2 semi-horseshit technicalities, if I don't mind telling you. First, Drew, remarkable fight picking. Technically, we both picked a majority of the fights correct. I, myself, 9 points, him 8. You're probably wondering, how did I get that extra point? Well, if listeners will recall, during the Mendez-Ziam fiasco, Drew refused to pick. I did pick and said double or nothing then. I get Mendez, which means I would have lost 2 had Ziam won. Mendez wins, putting me at the 9-8. Now I want to throw in, that's horseshit technicality number 1. Now I want to go to horseshit technicality number 2 because it's a doozy. We did our standard, which per UFC contract, UFC fight of the night, performance of the night, and performance of the night. They didn't do that this time. They did one of their funny audibles where they just decided to give 4 fighters performances of the night, which I don't get. Like, just give the third fighter the 50 grand. You're in UAE. Like, give a fight of the fucking night because I'm on the page for Wikipedia. UFC bonuses. Nope, not going to get into that. We both had Kabib on our list. Those were our only successes. I win. I either get invited to this next watch party and some fucking pizza.
Didn't you significantly choose Dustin Poirier to win?
Yes, I did. I did choose Poirier. Actually, it's worth noting you chose 3 of the 5 on the main card correct. I only got 2 of the 5. That's indignant.
So the tally is
That's
9 out of 8.
Yes, 9-8. And Drew, this is the moment when I, as the moderator, like to remind you when I say things like, are you sure you don't want to pick here? And you go, I'm so confident. I don't need that pick.
That is correct.
Are you sure?
You did bloviate that you're so sure you will win without this choice that sure, 2-1's fine. Not to put words in your mouth.
So identically, I just gave you a freebie, which allowed you to win to save you from a concussion. So it's just a mercy win.
Correct. Otherwise, horseshit technicality, we tie in performance of the night with both Khabibs. This is the thinnest, weirdest win I've ever had, and I feel a real, like, the referees overturned it. I don't know. It doesn't feel great, but I am going to count it. So just
I'm counting. It stays. But, Drew, remember, though, when I warned you and I said, hey, this might come back to haunt you, what is your reaction to that now?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I understand. You just now have a... Wait, Kev.
Did he say concussion? Did anyone else hear concussion?
He did say
I
concussion.
Was get a concussion?
You're fine.
I thought we said headgear.
Yeah, you know, it didn't mean he wasn't going to hit you hard enough to get a concussion.
I'm feeling better about this horseshit technicality by the second.
But you know, Kev, I think this means something significant on the show, and I don't know if this has happened before. It might have.
I get to nickname Drew Dober. You're damn right.
You get to nickname him as well. But do you realize that both you and I have now beat Drew?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, congrats to you on a great... He's a tough opponent. I mean,
he's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I beat him a little bit easier than you did, but that's not important.
I did have to win on... This is the first time I've ever won on this type of bet. This has never worked out for me ever
a little weird.
Before.
It was really weird when
it burned me.
Asked for not taking a pick, and then you asked to double or nothing it, and I said, I'll allow it, because that was really... It was so ballsy. It deserves to be punished if it doesn't get it right. So, Drew, what does it feel like to lose to Kevin and myself? Because I know how competitive you are. I mean, you keep track records of how you roll against us. So, I mean, now it's a losing record against Verbal Tap as a whole.
Betting or choosing fights has never been my game. I mean, if you remember correctly, Ross, like I chose somebody because his nickname was the Wolverine or something.
No, I get it. I'm just saying,
You
when
hit
you
8
showed
out of
up
12.
last week on the
That's
show,
not bad.
you said, "Hey, Raph, we're 1-1," and the one that you won was from rolling, and the one that I won apparently was from picking fights. So you clearly keep record of things. I'm just letting you know, if we are looking at the record, it would be Drew Dober never winning against VerbalTap as a whole.
Just
And
casually.
that's just, I feel bad for you.
I mean, I significantly remember our jiu-jitsu matches. Count that one time. There was multiple wins on numerous occasions there, but I mean, who's keeping track?
No, it wasn't. No. There was
Hey,
only
one of us had a
There was
black
only one.
eye. Now,
I
you
want it.
might have arrived with it. That I can't confirm or deny. But if we're just talking about who left the most fucked up, I mean, that was you. That's just... You had been fighting rounds with TJ Dillashaw the night before, so it's super funny that I'm comparing your night to ours. But still, that's rhetoric, Drew. It's just a little thing I know. Yeah.
So, Kev, what do? You nickname him? What do you do?
Well,
Like, what was that this time?
I get to submit nicknames to him. Let's be super clear.
And don't I also have to send you like a signed shirtless photo?
You're
Is that what you
goddamn
wanted as
right.
well?
That says specifically Drew the abs Dober. That's what I wanted. And you have to sign it on the abs. I'm going to frame it and put it in our loft. And that's personal. But specifically, I am also going to, as a part of this, submit 2 pages of nicknames because you don't have one yet.
2 pages.
Famously,
Good God.
well, there's no bad ideas in brainstorming, Drew. The first one was Drew the Dent Dober, and people didn't hate that. People did not hate that.
So, Drew.
Okay.
No, I mean, he's gonna give you the page later. It's not. He's giving you a taste of it.
Drew the Nebraska Twister Dober isn't bad.
What am I doing with this 2-page nickname?
No. It's not going to be one nickname. It's going to be 2 pages of nickname. I just want you to consider them. This is just a friendly submission that you need to choose something fierce for marketing purposes.
Or you just use them all, and that way Bruce Buffer has the longest entrance for any fighter.
Don't hate that
anybody's
either.
ever seen.
Don't hate that either.
I can just pull a Diego Sanchez and just use a different nickname every single fight.
It's not going to be 2 pages of one nickname. Like, I'm not Shakespeare. God.
This is going to be a very large font. Don't worry.
Some
It's
of them aren't
gonna
even
take
going to
up
be
a
good.
lot.
Just calm down.
Well, let's say this. Drew, what is coming up next for you, sir? I mean, I know we don't have a fight on the horizon, but do you have things that you're doing? Are you teaching the privates? Are you doing the fighting? Are you teaching classes? If people are looking to train with you, where did they go if they're looking to see a Drew Dober?
Well, I will be in UFC Vancouver this weekend. You know, walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies. Probably at a Metro PCS store somewhere. Other than that, Denver, Colorado, Easton's training center. Come check it out.
First of all, you didn't even mention we were like, you should head to UAE. Well, I'm headed to Toronto in 27 seconds. But of course, you're headed to Canada. Wait, did you say Vancouver? I'm so American.
Yeah, Vancouver, Canada.
I refuse to acknowledge there are multiple places in Canada. It's all one
Fair.
place to me. It's whatever. So you're already headed over. Yeah, they just send you everywhere. It's like then you can find them at a Metro PCS in Mexico City, largest populated city in the world. Fun fact. He'll be signing you up for phone plans and showing you his takedowns.
I just really hope
Perfect.
that when they do send you these things and you get a booth, that it's just you eating.
Just,
And that when fans come over, they just see you kind of like a bear about to go into hibernation, but just stuffing the food in that's going to survive
Drew?
them.
Poutine?
I'm actually quite disappointed that they don't give me food at these events. That definitely needs to be a request.
Well, we have a pretty good listener base in Vancouver, actually. I'm staring at our analytics page. Hey, Vancouver, bring this man some food, for fuck's sake. Come on. Do not eat anything they bring you, by the way. Drew.
Yeah,
strongly not
we can't
recommended.
prove it.
Just
There's no
say.
FDA over
But
there.
Vancouver is in our top 10 cities. So
It all depends on what they bring me.
there's probably going to be weed in it, if I had to guess. This is
Well-
just a rough shot at my Canadian base.
Kev, before we let Drew off,
Next is Tel Aviv. Ref, just if you're curious. Sorry.
thank you. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for Drew to learn from this experience?
Mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know, I saw a weakness moment. I took advantage.
Mm-hmm.
As a fellow big thigh person, I think like you, Drew. We stare in the same mirror from the waist down. And I just knew how to beat him.
By technicality.
By a few horseshit
dumb
technicalities. I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I've accepted it
Drew's
for what
gonna
it
be
is.
The first person to complain when he gets a no contest win one of these days. He's definitely going to be like, no, take that off my record. I didn't win by a fluke, a.k.a. Dr. Stoppage. No. I'm just going to sit there and I'm just going to love the fact that I'm going to tell people in the future who opt not to take a fight pick. I'm going to be like, the legend of Drew Dober
You're
shall
pulling a
remind
Drew
you
Dober.
forever.
That's bold.
It's bold. I don't think it's going to work for you, my friend.
Well, you can
listen-
find him in Vancouver or at
Yes.
Easton's.
And you could also find him at Drew Dober on all major social media. Drew, again, such a friend of the podcast. We always love it when you come on. It had been too long, so we're glad that we were able to get you back on. But you know what? Next time we'll bring you back on less competitive waters. We'll chat with you again either before or after one of your next fights, man, because, the fans, they miss you, sir.
Well, I greatly appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a lot of fun, even though I lose frequently. It's always a blast listening to you guys.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...